Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, Erwin.
Thank you.
Welcome. So I think
Great to be here.
we're lucky to have you. You're always traveling across the globe from the US to Europe to Asia. So I think we caught you, and we're happy to have you today. So thank you for being with us.
Yeah, great to be here. Really great event, great talk. So really good.
So we do not present McDonald's anymore. It's such an iconic brand. You used to be the managing director for McDonald's in the Netherlands. Then a year and a half ago, you jumped in a new global role, and you are today running the global brand leadership. So tell us about your role and what it is exactly.
Yeah, the role is basically being responsible for the brand worldwide, and basically my team is built on our strategy how to do that. So there are basically two legs. So one leg is about helping the markets to do the best marketing possible in their local context, because we all know it's think global, act local, right? And the other leg is about what we call the power of one. And the power of one is doing all the things that you best can do at a global level or only can do together, which means global campaigns, global alliances like now the FIFA World Cup is starting, typically something that sits in my team, global sponsoring, and there are lots of actually connection platforms that go global, so this role is actually within my team is increasing.
All right. So all this action makes McDonald's one of the most successful and valuable brands in the world. And if you look at the last year, competing with global tech, which are raising in the rankings. So what is the magic that kept you there for many years?
Yeah, that's interesting. Coincidentally, half a year ago, we had our worldwide convention. All the McDonald's people gathered together around the globe, and actually we set that dynamic ranking somewhere. We projected it on the wall, and you see McDonald's being there, let's say over time consistently, and then you start to think about it, right? What does the brand have that keeps you up there for a very long time? And I think it's very much about, of course, you need to have a great concept, that fits with customer needs, but also you need to, as a company and as a brand owner, realize what your DNA is and really understand your brand well and stick to it. Of course, there is a lot of innovation. McDonald's from today is completely different than a McDonald's 40, 30, 20 years ago. But still the DNA and the concept we deliver, the customer experience we give is more or less the same, but just delivered in a different way. And I think that's for any brand really important to understand and to stick to.
Okay. So when we discussed earlier that topic, so you told me that McDonald's is a global brand, we have a global presence, but we need to stay locally and culturally relevant.
Yeah.
So what does it mean for you?
Yeah, so I think locally relevant is crucial. A McDonald's in France is different than a McDonald's in Asia or a McDonald's in the US. You would definitely see everywhere the Big Mac and the McFlurry, and about, I would say, 40 to 50% of the menu is the same, but the other half is definitely localized. So locally relevant, especially because it's in a food context, is really important. And what we see nowadays even more is, especially the newer generations are so connected around the world, so they form communities around the world that are not based anymore on proximity, so sitting close to each other, but because of their shared passions. And so for all marketers, one message, the consumer doesn't think of your brand all day. Actually, you might, if you are lucky, they might think of you maybe once a week. And so to be relevant and to get into their mindset, you need to connect to what they care about, right? I mean, we have to earn attention. We cannot buy attention anymore. So to be culturally relevant and to understand what is actually out there, what is happening, and what is now happening, let's say, as an important part in your customer's mind is really important. So you need to be really connected to what's there outside in the world. And that's what I mean culturally relevant. Just understand what people care about and find your role as a brand within that.
All right. So that's really also the way you are seeing personalization in that.
Exactly. And basically, this is personalization more at a community level, right? At a we level. And there's also, of course, let's say, more at an individual level, personalization, but we come to that later, right?
Yeah, indeed. We're going to talk about technology. I love that topic. So looking at the past decades, technology has really broadened the access to restaurants.
Yeah.
It has never been as easy as today. Just in my phone, I have access to 100 restaurants. But it's increasing competition, but also giving you the opportunity to better know your customer and to be closer to them. So in that context, did this context change your growth strategy? How do you see that?
Yeah, so what you see on screen here is what we call our growth loop. It's basically a customer experience loop. We also call it our feel-good experience loop because we basically sell feel-good experiences. But it's very much, it starts with knowing your customers. And we are so lucky that we not only sell products, but also have our customer in the experience of the McDonald's, right? So we basically own the chain from buying the ingredients, making the product, to actually giving the customer the experience in restaurant. And that delivers, of course, a huge opportunity to connect with your customer, to know them every time they come to you. And every time that they go through the circle, and basically this infinite circle, you are able to build more knowledge about your customer and be more personally relevant to them. So from culturally relevant, which let's say happens outside, more in paid media and doing the right marketing promotions, to going more to the owned media and be more personally relevant and giving them the right offers. It might be a menu offer, like, if we know that somebody is a vegetarian, you give them, of course, another offer than a beef lover. If you know that somebody's coming often with children, you might give them an offer for a Happy Meal. And there are so many ways to actually adapt our offer without changing our product, but adapt our offer to the customer. And especially when you look at, so when you're now here in the Netherlands as well, if you go into a drive lane, you see digital menu boards. So 3 to 4 years ago, we made a complete shift from let's say the offline boards to the online boards. And of course, you can imagine how many opportunities that gives to actually personalize your offer. And we know, and that's where we had it, and we know that already from testing in the US, that if we have an identified customer, so if we know our customer by name, and we know how to actually to speak to the customer by name, that's the main driver of, let's say, hospitality and of feel-good. And so personalization doesn't have to be so complicated. It's just pushing the right buttons.
All right. So you know more about your customer through technology. Obviously, the world has changed. We had that discussion. So before, people were going to the restaurant, and that's it.
Yeah.
Today, which role technology plays to stay relevant to younger generation? So if we extrapolate, will customer one day will be ordering McDonald's in the metaverse, for example?
Well, yeah, no, I think our principle is we go where the customer is. So that is in the physical world, and in this way, when there is anywhere a population that is big enough, we would try to get there with a restaurant. So if communities would go online, we tried to be online. If communities would go in the metaverse, we would go in the metaverse. And if you look at how technology changed our customer experience, well, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago, you had this counter, and some of you might remember, which actually said, order here. Yeah? So you went to the counter, and they said, hey, you need to order here, because we serve our food here. And well, we might have had a drive lane, but that was it, right? And nowadays, customers can order delivery, can order ahead, can pick up at curbside, can go through the drive lane, can go to the kiosk in restaurant, can still go to the counter, pay cash, pay credit card. So the amount of, let's say, different channels we use has multiplied. So complexity has multiplied a lot, which means that we need to keep other things simple. And so the personalization sits much more in the experience, the customer experience, how people get our food, than that they get a Big Mac, a triple Big Mac, or a single Big Mac, because we try to keep our food simple, because the complexity has already been, let's say, risen so much that, you know, if you want to stick to your DNA, you need to be quick, you need to have the order right, and, well, the danger is, when you make it too complicated, that will be a big challenge. So back to your question, will people be able to order in a metaverse? I can't exclude that.
Okay. So being where your customers are, I think that's
being where the customers are and stick to your DNA.
Yeah, that's the good summary.
And find the right buttons to personalize.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. So thank you very much. Thank you for the partnership, Erwin, and thank you for sharing your success.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.